Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Random Vlogging! So, yesterday I attempted to film a vlog where I talked about the Performance Matters hashtag and basically talking about the way that I've seen a few responses from developers where they basically have just shit on voice actors. Saying that their job is super easy and all this stuff, and then I've also seen people that have no idea how the entertainment industry works in general, talking and how working with a union or hiring people from a union works. Um, so it, uh, it really upset me, and so I started talking about the idea of like acting work in general. There are two types of jobs you can get in the world. You have what's called skilled labor, and you have what's called unskilled labor. Unskilled labor is something that literally anyone can do with very minimal training. So that's anything from minimum wage jobs in general are unskilled labor. Literally, you can pick anyone off the street to do them. Everything from like running a cash register, stocking shelves. These are things that don't require any sort of expertise. Um, and while yes, there will be a learning curve built into it, just so you can know how to do it correctly, it doesn't require any sort of advanced degree or training or anything like that beyond what would normally be provided in a workplace. Then you have what's called skilled labor. Skilled labor is something that requires a significant amount of experience or very specialized training. A lot of times it requires some sort of degree or notification that you are qualified to do this type of work. That's everything from something as simple as a forklift operator is skilled labor, simply because in order to operate a forklift in general, you have to be licensed to do that. I was a licensed forklift operator for about 2 years. Uh, uh, Not that I was actually operating a forklift in those 2 years, but I got the qualification and the license, and then I used it for about a month and got fired from that job. Uh, but yeah, so that's skilled labor. Acting is skilled labor. It requires a significant amount of training. What a lot of people don't realize, if I wanted to move to LA right now, in order for me to get an agent, which is kind of the bare minimum for being able to live off of your acting. If you're living in LA, you really have to have an agent. Representing yourself very rarely, if ever, works. Um, and it's very difficult. A lot of casting calls and things like that don't accept uh, personal. You can't just submit your headshot and resume to them. A lot of times they will go through agents, and unless you know the casting director somehow, they can get you a spot. You have to have an agent to do it. So having an agent, very important thing, specifically in LA. There are a lot of other places where you can get by without an agent, but LA and the film industry in general, agents are par for the course. So in order for me to get an agent, not only do I have to show that I already have some sort of training, whether that's from experience working on film sets, whether that's from a degree in film acting, whether that's from taking courses or working with an acting coach. No agent will look at anything, will even allow me to audition if I cannot show I have training in that. And the second thing that's required, and this is something that I've contacted agents, or I've gone through contact forms. I haven't actually contacted them because I didn't live in LA and it was a waste of my time. Where they specifically state on there, if you do not have a current acting coach, we will not consider your application. You are worthless to us unless you are constantly getting trained more. So acting in general is skilled labor that has an insanely high barrier to entry. Um, and yeah, so the idea that these voice actors aren't, uh, are doing something easy that anyone could do. No, they can't. Quite simply, if you make it to the point where you're getting and you're able to live off of your acting paycheck, with a very few amount of exceptions. Uh, you have significant training to the point where in any other field you would be considered a master of that craft. And this is bare minimum entry level actors. The same amount of experience that an entry level actor would have would be someone that would be considered a veteran in most other fields. Um, so yes, so that was my little rant, and I went on. I'm not kidding here. I went on for about 30 minutes on this rant, talking about all the different aspects of working with a union, and like people were surprised that uh, one of the things that SAG is talking about or one of the things the entertainment industry wants is they want to be able to just use their own developers and stuff like that to do the voiceover instead of SAG-AFTRA actors. And people can't understand, well, why wouldn't you let them do that? That's just being greedy. No, that's how working with a union works. Most unions, if they're not built inside the company itself, will require you to work only with their members, or and this happens fairly often, they will say that if you want to use any of our members, you have to use this much. You know, you have to use 80% of your workforce has to be our members. You don't get to use any of them. That's one of the ways unions have the ability to uh, protect their employees and things like that, as they can go, well, listen, you can't fire our people because you agreed to hire at least 80% of your workforce being our people, and if you do, we're going to pull them all out. So, yeah, the idea that people are like, I can't believe they do that, that's so stupid. No, that's how working with a union works. Unless you're in a right-to-work state, most places that use a union actually force anyone that works at that place to be in a union, to be in that specific union. So yeah, the idea that, well, if they'll just be greedy, no, they're being 100% normal in saying no. So anyway, that was a 30-minute long rant that I'm not going to go into because I think it'll just bore the fuck out of people. So, but what I did want to talk about, and this is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I've been trying to find a good time to make it. And I figured today was a good day because, to be perfectly honest, I've been having a really, really bad day mentally. Like my brain's not working the way it's supposed to. I've been struggling with some depression and a lot of anxiety all day today, and I have no idea why. And it's not been fun. And so I figured today was a good day to talk about it. Since I was very young, and I'm probably going to blame the Power Rangers for this, my goal has been to be a part of a group where everybody has their own kind of expertise and specialty, and everyone kind of has this mutual respect for everyone else's specific skill set, and everybody works together. Now, that sounds like an insane... when you say it out loud, it sounds insanely simple. And it doesn't seem like that big a deal, and it sounds like something that's insanely easy to get. And to be blunt, it's not. Here's why. So for 5 years, I was in retail management. I was the best at my job of anyone in my particular job title in most of the places that I worked. I won multiple awards for the things that I did, and I got recognition from district managers and regional managers for the things that I used to do my job. A lot of the forms and documents that I created, the district manager would take and distribute for district-wide use because they were very well made. So yes, I was an expert specifically in sales and training. That's what I did, and I was very, very good at it. On the management teams that I belonged to, basically what happened was the store manager would get an idea, he would decide what he would want to do, and then he'd tell everyone what they were going to do in order to do it without consulting any of us. He would just go, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Go do your job, which is very typical of retail environment and a management environment in general. Basically, the guy up top gets to make the decisions. He gets to decide how things are going to go, and then it goes down. But a lot of the time, I actually had more knowledge and expertise in sales than my boss, simply because that was my entire focus. And so they would make decisions on how we were going to run sales that wouldn't actually work. And had they just gone, okay, now we're going to do sales stuff. So Jody, how are we going to do sales stuff? The store would have run much, much better. Instead, what generally would happen is we would do their plan because it's their store and they get to do what they want. We do their plan until it completely destroyed the store. And then when they finally had something else to occupy their interest, I would do my own thing, get the store fixed while they were no longer trying to control it. And that's something that I've dealt with just about everywhere I've been. Yeah, like I said, I've always wanted to be part of a team where you have a group of people and everybody has their own thing that they're really good at. And whenever that specific subject goes off, instead of everyone going, well, my idea is this and my idea is that, we just turn to the person that's like, oh, this is what that guy does. We're going to listen to him. What do you think? And I've never, ever had that. It's one of the reasons I created the All for Geek Alliance, to try and get that kind of mentality from the team that I work with there. Every single job that I've had, I've tried to create that kind of mentality where I can go, okay, this is what I do best, this is what you do best, let's all work together. And it's never, ever happened. And I've never quite understood why, but it doesn't. And more than anything else in the world, that is what I want in a career. I want a place where my personal expertise is respected and relied upon in situations where I actually am the person that knows what they're doing the most. So yeah, like I said, it sounds weird and insanely simple, but it's something I've never actually seen in the real world, even in situations where it would make sense. Like, I was the sales manager at 4 different stores. Like, my job title, it was actually sales specialist. But my job title had sales in the name, and I was never consulted once about how to run sales in the store, ever. It was simply just looked over. And this is something I see all over, is you have one person that's kind of in the lead, and he has a team that he basically just delegates his own ideas to. Even though he has, expertise in this team that he doesn't have, he just decides he knows best, or she. I've had quite a few female managers that have been just as guilty of this I know everything and you're going to do the things I want you to do mentality. The first collab website or collab YouTube channel that I worked on had a very similar issue where there was one person that decided they knew everything, and I just see it over and over. I'm starting to see it with some of the other websites that I've started having input on and things like that. That you just have one person that decides they know everything, and then they make poor decisions and don't rely on the people that they really should, because their expertise is in that specific field. So yeah, I mean, when you think about like the Power Rangers, like the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, before they got Tommy, because Tommy kind of ruins this example, you had 5 people, each one had a very specific set of skills, and they showed and emphasized that on the show. Anytime there was something to do with like science and tech type stuff, they immediately just asked Billy, what do we do? They didn't make decisions and then say, Billy did it. It was, Billy, what do we do? Anything to do with gymnastics and stuff like that, it was Kimberly. Anything to do with Kung Fu and things like that, and kind of spirituality, they went to Trini. Anything to do with being cool and dancing was Zach. And then anything to do with more generic martial arts and kind of leadership type things, they went to Jason. And everyone had their own specific field of interest, and that's what they did. And that was kind of a common theme with Power Rangers. And one of the reasons I love Power Rangers so much is the teams were always a group of expert individuals that were all brought together and used their abilities in conjunction with one another and had a mutual respect for each other. You never saw Jason giving Zach dance lessons. You never saw, Trini teaching Billy how to build a science project or something like that. She understood that Billy was the science guy and he was very, very good at it. And everybody used their skills in conjunction with each other to, create a more full team. They all relied on each other and had a mutual respect for each other. And I've never found that in any job I've had. Now, it might just be I've had bad jobs, and I will 100% admit a lot of the places I've been employed, the main reason I'm no longer employed there is because I couldn't accept practices that they had that I felt were either unethical. There were a couple instances where I felt that they were unlawful. So I wouldn't be able to work there because of that. But other than that, this idea of I've always wanted to be part of a team. I always have, and I've never found that. Other than, and again, my definition of team is not, a bunch of people working together, under one, supreme overlord. It is a group of people that all work together towards the same goal, have mutual respect for each other, and all kind of rely on each other for their own expertise. That's what I want. That's one of the things I'm trying to build with the All for Geek Alliance. It's one of the reasons I work so hard at it. It's one of the things I'm trying to do with this 48-hour live stream is get a bunch of like-minded individuals together to work together towards things. That's always what I've wanted, and I've never found it anywhere. So, except technically once, and that was with the ministry that I was trying to start in northern Milwaukee, which still is being worked on, but we keep running into issues with the fact that Milwaukee is run by a bunch of idiots and money is hard to come by. So, yeah. Anyway, this is my super long rant about a lot of different things, but I wanted to make a video. I hadn't made a video since like the beginning of the week. So, yes. I may talk about this subject again because, like I said, this is more than anything else in the world, more than literally everything from like getting my degree to being a YouTube star, living off of content creation. More than any of that, I want to be a part of a team, a true team that respects each other, that works together, and that uses each other's expertises to kind of further and grow each other. So, yeah, I want that more than anything else in the world, and I simply can't find it anywhere, and it really sucks because teams like that are what change the world. They really are. And too many companies are so focused on the idea of limiting power and authority and things like that. So anyway, that's all for me today. I will see you guys another time. I have no idea when I'm going to film next because this live stream thing is super time taxing, and I'm also going to be taking a final within the next week here. So lots of fun. Anyway, again, it's all for me. I'll see you guys some other time. All right. Bye-bye.